Dear students, let us discuss about recurrent neural networks and their applications in this video lecture. I will discuss both on the theory, little bit of details of backpropagation, and how these recurrent neural networks along with convolutional networks can be employed in encoder decoder frameworks or fashion for different applications. Uh, mm, I would like to acknowledge Professor Fifi Lee team and Professor Mitesh Kapra IIT Madras for using their lecture slides in this video lecture. Both notations are slightly different. However, there are some important points to be mentioned in both of them. So I have, please excuse me for using both together. So let us start the discussion on like what for this recurrent neural networks are, what is like big picture are the basic details about architecture, and then few of the backpropagation aspects. These recurrent neural networks are used most of the cases for sequence modeling. For example, if I have a machine translation problem, so if I want to translate from English to Hindi or translate each word of the sentence into different language, that is transliteration literation. Or if I have an image and I would like to make a caption, which is a sentence again with a sequence of words. For all such applications where there are some sequence that is needed, or where there is some temporal information that has to be assimilated or gathered or consolidated, these recurrent neural networks are widely in use. Specifically, we have a recurrent connection in in these architectures. So other than like conventional feed-forward neural network, we have a recurrent connection between the previous state to the current state, in the sense that each say at any time instant the output from a state or a hidden layer it depends upon a current corresponding input and the output at previous time step. So we assume we associate a time aspect as well to the architecture here. So that is why the even the recurrent neural network learning is referred to as back propagation through time. We will discuss few aspects of explicitly, but before going to that, we will mention few of the applications. So these are applied widely in say image captioning problem. So for example, if I have an image and I may have an encoding of the image in terms of a feature vector. From this feature vector, if I want to make a sentence out of it, a girl is playing, for example. So the first instant I may be able to capture A, and next instance I will be able to say girl is and playing. So and there is a temporal relation that I need to make in proper sequencing to give a proper caption for the image. So this learning is done through one to many kind of recurrent neural network architecture. And there are other problems which need many to one kind of architecture. You would say, for example, if I have a set of sentences or even a paragraph, based on it I would like to say whether the Twitter comment is positive or negative, for example, or good, poor, or average kind of thing. Or if I want to classify based on video frames, I want to classify that video into say a comedy, fiction, or whatever. So different kind of classification for videos. So those are the application where I have say sentiment classification or video classification, where many to one kind of architectures are important. And there are few other architectures, for example machine translation, where I have a sentence that is with a several words in English, and I want to get a sentence in Hindi, for example, with several words again. So that is many to many. So I may have encoding of the sentence, English sentence. After encoding, I would like to sequentially decode to have a proper grammar and the sentence with meaning and grammar. So this is many to many. So please note that I will show exactly what are there inside the blocks and what are these lines represents, etc. But this is just to give a picture of what the how the application specific architectures look like. and they find find this is machine translation, sequence of words to sequence of words. And this is, say, for example, many to many, where I may do video classification, frame level video classification. So uh, each frame I would like to put into one of the category, has person or has say has car or whatever. So some classifications I can put. So basic recurrent neural network architecture looks like this. Here, say this is a compact representation where x is input. This line indicates a layer. So now x and the hidden state, so for example, the feature vector and the hidden variable, output of hidden variable, are connected through a hidden layer. That layer is shown here as a arrow here, as a line here. And the previous state is connected to current state, that is shown by this arrow. And so each of the state ht is a function of previous state and the current input. And this fw represents the weight vectors multiplied for ht minus 1, that is the layer that is connecting ht minus 1 to ht, and the layer that is connecting xt to ht. So explicitly writing whh into ht minus 1 plus whx into xt is equal to ht you may get. If I use sigmoid activation function, f will be sigmoid there. And that is how this hidden state is formed. From the hidden state, you may get the corresponding output yt equal to, again, another matrix wyh into ht, for example. So each line now represents a layer. So please note that. And this is the discussion that we had. And one more thing is, see, we don't know about the length of the sequence. Each time the sequence vary from different lengths, say it may be 3 or 5, sentence may have 5 words, even the output may be 5 words or through 2 words or 3 words, even single worded sometimes. So in such cases, we should have a better ground on how we learn. So the layer that connects previous state to current state, if it keep varying from layer to layer, that state to state, then the based on number of states, that variation is can't be accounted for. So to account for varying length of sequences, the weight vector or the layer that connects previous state to current state is exactly same. That this also connects current state to next state, and so on. So please note that the each state to previous state is whh. So it will be always whh. So irrespective of ht minus 1, ht minus, say ht minus 1 to ht minus 2, and so on. And how are these, say for example, these are the set of matrices. So let us see few of the analogy of this with respect to the feed forward architecture that we have previously we were familiar. So please see here the feed forward neural network. So as we discussed in the previous lectures, so x is the input if we give to a network layer, and y is the output. Y can be related to x bias w into x, and w is a weight matrix now. And the loss can be formed y minus y true ground truth value whole square. And if there is an activation function, sigma times w into x. So in the discussions that follow, I will usually neglect the activation function, because we know how to backpropagate even with the activation function. So now here, if you see, so just we will make a quick recap so that the analogy to the RNNs can be seen easily. RNN architecture can be seen easily. So matrix, each of the matrix multiplication is usually denoted with a layer. So wherever I write in equation a matrix multiplication, it means that there is a layer in between the input and output variable. Okay, and back propagation. So if you want to find delta x, for example, so delta x is equal to dou z by dou x here, and dou y, so dou z by dou y into dou y by dou x through chain rule or through computational graph, and this can be written as dou y by dou x is W transpose. Okay, and then into delta y. So on the dimensions, the d cross c and c cross 1, the total dimension of errors is d cross 1. So this is, say for example, this if I want to back propagate here, say if you want to find dou z by dou w, if I want to find. Okay, so if you want to find dou z by dou w, then what do we do here? So what we have is dou z by dou y again okay, and dou y by dou w we have, okay. And then this how does it work out? So delta y for this into x transpose, okay. So please note that actually this comes from the proper computational graph derivative. And this is errors at this location into input at this location. So this is delta w, okay. And the dimensions also match. This is c cross d, okay. So w is c cross d, yeah, fine, okay. Fine. So now this is what we discussed before, and now let us see the RNN. So as discussed now, just now, the RNN architecture can be compactly seen like this, can be compactly shown like this, where xt is the current input and yt is the current output and ht is the hidden state, current hidden state. This depends upon previous hidden state. This is in some sense it denotes that. And then the dimensions, if this is d cross 1 and this is c cross 1, say yc is c cross 1, then it is n cross 1, then the respective matrices that connects the, or the layers that connects x to h and h to y can be written, and this in proper form or in a like unfolded form can be written like this, where each of the state is connected to previous state and the current input, and these are the matrices that connects each of them. So please note that this is a unfolded form of this. Both represents the same, because at each time step what you have is WHH, that is same, and these two depends upon input and output. So you can even write like this or like this, okay. So and this based on the changing the location of inputs and outputs, you can keep this as many to one or one to many or many to many, etc. So the architecture can be changed, but the essential relationships and the RNN block remains same. So this is a compact representation of RNN block, okay. So the explicit relationships we can write like this: ht is equal to f of ht comma ht minus 1, because current input and previous state. So the explicitly you can write it as double. If there is an activation function, we will write tan h, or usually tan h is used. So tan h or sigmoid whx into xt plus whh into ht minus 1. Similarly, yt is equal to f is a function of the hidden state, that is wyh into ht bias plus bias. Here also please note that bias is there, though I skipped here in writing for simplicity. And the cos function usually people use, it can be either mean square error cos function, that is yt current estimate minus y true, or it can be a cos function that is based on the cross entropy. See, if we use cross entropy loss function, how does the things vary? Say if input is x1 here, then say assume that we want to predict deep is what, say deep learning, we want to predict next letter given the current letter. So d is the current letter we have given, and we want to predict e here, e, but the network when it randomly initialized, it predicted p here, okay. So p is the prediction by the network and e is the ground truth. So the prediction as it shows here p, so since there are only three letters d, E and P, three distinct letters, and stop. So there are only four distinct letters. What we do is we give the 1 hot encoding for that. So it is D is 1 and E is 0 1 0 0 and stop is 0 0 0 1 and so on. Okay, and now P is predicted means the probability for P is high in the prediction with random initialization, say. But the actual prediction, it should be 1 0 1 0 0. So this is true value and this is yt. So when I consider cross entropy loss, what will happen? So cross entropy loss is equal to plus 0. So it is 0 into the first term plus minus 1 into ln of y2 will come here, that is 0.08 it will come, but it is ytc. That is, if c is the correct loss index, then the cross entropy loss is given by this correct loss index correct class index, Okay, for C being the correct class index, the cross entropy loss is given by minus ln of ytc. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, uh, here based on this you can again please note that the output here what you get may not be directly y, you may get s here, scores you may get, those scores are in turn converted into through softmax to y's. Please note that there is a transformation between the scores to predictions in terms of probabilities in between. I left it. So these things probably you might have already found derivatives, how to back propagate the derivatives from scores to cross entropy probabilities or probabilities to scores and so on. So we leave it there. So now we assume that so delta y is given. So for example delta, so in either case the derivative with respect to y or y any component of y is delta y. So we write here, so dou L by dou y, y can be at any time instant t, so I consider it yt, so this is delta yt, and assume that this is found out based on either it is mean square error or loss or the cross entropy loss. Please note that if there are 4 things to be predicted for completing the letter, then I think completing the word, if you need 4 letters to be predicted, then considering all 4 errors together will form the total error in that word prediction, and then this is the total error. Now in back propagation what do we do? Say for example if I want to do now back propagation, what what do we do? So what we need to do is based on this error we want to adjust the weight matrices WHX, WYH, WHH. See, adjusting WYH and WHX are very straightforward because these depend only upon the corresponding input and output. See, here WHX may be different and here WHX may be different and so on. But WHH is constant throughout, and each WHH, as you can see, you cannot update the WHH independently. So that pays real or more attention. However, we discussed now how to update dou L by dou WYH. So dou L by dou WYH, if you want to do through chain rule, we can write dou L by dou Y1 or YT, for example. So I write in general with T. So you can later put it either L1 or L2 or whatever. So I write with respect to T now in general. Okay, so dou LT by dou YT, in because where is WYH we need to see. In these expressions, see these are the 2 key expressions that use for, these are the forward propagation expressions. Okay, so these are, okay, so these are the key expressions. So where is WYH? So dou L by dou WYH, if you want to do dou L by dou YT into dou YT by dou WYH. So that's how we write it here, dou L by dou YT, that is delta YT, for example delta YT into dou YT by dou WYH. If you see, it is H transpose or HT transpose. Okay, so it is HT transpose. So this is how we update the delta YH or dou L by dou YH. Once we get the gradient delta YH, then we apply gradient descent to update the weights from hidden state to the output state. Similarly, we can write dou LT by dou WHX as dou LT by dou YT into dou YT by dou HT into dou HT by dou WHX. Please note that where is, say what we want to update is dou WHX. So where is this WHX? It is in HT. Where is this HT? It is here. Okay, where is this HT? Again here. So dou LT by dou YT into dou YT by dou HT into dou HT by dou WHX. Exactly like the chain rule or the, you can use either both chain rule or the computational flow graph, whichever is convenient to derive these back propagations or derivatives. And writing with the appropriate dimension and placement. So what you have is dou YH transpose into, so this much into XT transpose. So this, as you can see, the dimension here is n cross C. Please note that dou H by dou WHX is X transpose. Dou YT by dou HT is YH transpose. Okay, this is a matrix, say vector to vector derivative. So it is a matrix, and then delta YT is this. Okay, so this is what you have is the without activation I am writing these derivatives because activation will make element by element multiplications at appropriate locations. I am just keeping it for simplicity. Here you can see with explicitly with activation how we can write the derivative. Okay, now let us see how to write the derivative with respect to dou lt by dou whh. See, like using chain rule, you can write dou lt by dou whh as dou lt by dou yt into dou yt by dou ht, which is exactly up to same here. But here dou ht by dou whh. Please note whh, if dou ht by dou whh when I want to find, so this for example is not very trivial, because ht if I expand, it has a matrix whh and ht minus 1 plus something, and this ht minus 1 if I expand, this also has whh in it. Again ht minus 2 if I expand, okay, and it has and so on, ht minus 2 if I expand, okay, again it has same whh into something. So I cannot write partial derivatives here. So how should I write now? So I will write, so one, in case where there are two things which are both function of say variable, we apply uv rule, and similar to that here we write explicit derivatives and implicit derivatives. So how do I write? Dou h t by dou whh. Okay, so here dou whh, this is explicit derivative. Explicit derivative means I explicitly, if whh is present, then only I consider it as a variable. So for example ht I will assume here as not a variable. Okay, so that is explicit derivative. Okay, so if I only explicit terms of whs are considered as variables into, say for example, the explicit derivative I will write here plus, okay, here see dou here what can I do? Say for example do this dou ht by dou ht minus 1, because see other than explicit derivative what else will be there? Derivative with respect to ht minus 1 is also a function. So what do I have? So dou ht minus 1 by dou whh. Okay, so what is it happening here? Okay, so what is it happening here? So this is explicitly I am writing derivative with respect to ht, and this is actually because in this function there is I am trying to write dou ht by dou ht minus 1. So this term is here, but the ht minus 1 is also a function of whh, so I am writing its derivative. Okay, so this is ht minus 1, in other words, is implicitly function of whh, so this is implicit derivative. Okay, so this is implicit and this is explicit, so this sign indicates explicit derivative. Okay, so now let us write again dou h t minus 1 by dou whh. Okay, how do I write it again? Dou ht minus 1, again explicit derivative dou whh plus dou ht minus 1 by dou ht minus 2, okay, into dou ht minus 1, oh sorry, dou ht minus 2 by dou whh. Okay, so here again this is explicit derivative plus implicit derivative. Okay, similarly what do I write here? If I write now again dou h t minus 2 by dou h dou w hh, again same will happen, dou h t minus 2 explicit derivative by dou whh plus dou h t minus 2 by dou h t minus 3 into dou h t minus 3 by dou wh. Up to when do we write? Say up till actually we have actually dou h 0 we get. So for example wherever, so once we are starting here, this is h naught, right? So if h naught is constant, So then dou h naught by dou h1 by dou h naught, so there it will end. So no more will things will go behind. So now let us put all these terms in a single expression, and let us write now explicitly what is say dou ht by dou whh. Okay, so dou h4 let us write. Okay, just for or even dou ht we will write. Say if we start from 4, we can write dou h4. Okay, let us write dou h4. It's okay, we will write dou ht itself. Okay, okay, so now how do we write? So dou ht by dou whh. Okay, explicit derivative plus, okay, I am writing here dou ht by dou ht minus 1. Okay, and here dou ht minus 1 by dou hh I have to write. That I will write from here. Okay, I will write 3 terms and try to write in recurrent relation. Ht minus 1 by dou whh and explicit derivative plus dou h t minus 2 by dou h t minus 2, dou h t minus 1 t minus 2. And here let us write, so here again you have actually this term. So I will write up to here, and we use the later chain rules to expand, like general notations to expand, by dou h w h h. Okay, plus I will write anyway dou h t minus 2 by dou h t minus 3. Okay, and so on. Here I will explicitly write, but assume that it ends somewhere. Dou h t minus 3 by dou h wh. Okay, I am writing here. I am just writing for sake of simplicity. I am closing at some point. Okay, right. Okay, so now please let us see what are all the these intermediate things we can easily calculate. Say for example dou h t by dou whh. Explicit derivative is how much? Say for example here explicit derivative is so it is ht minus 1 transpose. Okay, this is the explicit derivative here. Okay, whereas dou ht by dou ht minus 1, for example, what is this? This is whh transpose. Okay, these probably we can calculate from previous discussions. Now let us get into how we write a nice expression for this, or a simplified expression in terms of summation, or a better notation. So let us see this expression, and if this agrees with the previous thing that we have, ht by dou whh. Okay, explicit derivatives. Okay, minus k okay 0 to, say for example say tau time steps before. So if you want to write, if there are dependency on previous tau time steps, then we assume that we write like this. Okay, so here what is k? K is starting from 0. If I keep k equal to 0, it is first term. K equal to 1 if I keep, then dou ht minus 1 by dou whh into dou ht into dou ht minus 1 second term. Okay, and then t equal to 3 when I keep, dou ht minus 3, it's a explicitly dou ht minus third term, and so on. So please note that here in this expansion you can clearly see up to third terms, and remaining will follow once based on expansion of this. Okay, so this term, last term I will write in different sign so that you can note that actually it is not expanded. Okay, so please note that the last term is not expanded. Okay, dou h uh, t minus 3 by dou h w h h. Okay, this is not expanded. Need to be expanded. Okay, and here up to 3 terms you can cross check. Okay, so here if you just expand this 3 terms, you can easily say first term has only one term, second term these two, and see if let us write this here also. So from here probably just to have a better idea, so from here I write dou h t by dou w h h plus dou h t by dou h t minus 1 into dou h t minus 1 explicit derivative of WHH plus dou h t by dou h t minus 1 into dou h t minus 1 by dou h t minus 2 into dou h t minus 2 by dou WHH plus, okay, and so on, third term onwards. So let us write first 3 terms. Okay, so first term is very well agreeing, dou h by dou WHH. Okay, plus second term is dou t minus 1 by dou WHH into dou ht by dou ht minus 1 plus third term, let us see, dou ht minus 2 explicit derivative by dou WHH. Okay, into, see, combining these two put together is how much? So these two put together is what? These two put together is dou ht by dou ht minus 2. Okay, please note that. Okay, this is exactly same as third term here. Okay, this is equal to k equal to 1, k equal to 0, k equal to 1, and k equal to 2 here. Okay, in equation 1. Okay, this is equation 1, if you can see. Dou ht by dou WHH. Okay, fine. So please note that this is what we have. So this, I think probably we can write a little more explicitly. Dou ht by dou WHH is equal to, okay. So this is the final expression we have. Simplified notation of the expression. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is how the back propagation for the hidden state to hidden state weight, or the layer weights will happen in recurrent neural networks, and this is referred to as back propagation in time. Okay, okay, right, okay. Fine. So now let us get into the other aspects of recurrent neural networks. So what is the limitation of this back propagation through time, and is there any better algorithms to do, or better architectures to do sequence to sequence models, etc. Please see here the expanded version of the diagram for connecting different RNN blocks with like in based on the discussion we had, similar to the discussion we had, Please note that the W is common to all the hidden state to another hidden state. That's why the backpropagation in W happens through explicit derivatives and implicit derivatives. Okay, so for example, if we are here, there is an explicit derivative that comes, and then there are some implicit derivatives that come. So here again, implicit derivative and explicit derivative. So the update in W is sum of explicit derivative here, explicit and implicit derivatives, implicit derivative and explicit derivatives, and so on. Okay. Then please note that the loss function is sum of 4 terms. Then I think 4 terms will be there even in derivative, the weight update of W. While the updates for the weights connecting the hidden to outputs and the hidden state to output and the input state to hidden are simple as in feed-forward network. Okay, so this is the equation that relates that we have discussed just now, and tan H hyperbolic is generally used to relate the hidden to give the output of hidden state from the input and previous state. And the activation function can be incorporated easily in the back propagations, as you people know. So usually if this is one hot encoding is what is given as input, sometimes even the embedding of the letter may also be given as input, or the word. Say for example, if I have a word, there is a like text to vector conversion to give the embeddings. Such vector embeddings of the words also may be given as inputs, and hidden number of hidden neurons determine, or the number of states in the hidden neuron determine the dimension of the hidden vectors, and then based on that the output from here, the output also connected, and the number of variable vocabulary, or the number of vocabulary words or letters determine the number of output neurons dimensions of the output neurons. Okay, this is how the so here they are trying to give the sequence hello, predict letters in hello to be predicted. So for training there is a large vocabulary people use, so they try to predict from each letter to the next letter, and several letters are several letters in several words are predicted like that, and the error in all of them are taken one after the other and get back propagated to adjust the weight vectors here, weight matrices here, and then hidden to hidden layer weights. So this is slightly different notation. I am showing these slides as well, so that there are some insights that can be gained from this, as the as the diagram very clearly indicates, the input to the hidden connection is done through a vector weight matrix U. This depicts the layer now. So this is the hidden to hidden layer, that is W here. Hidden to output layer is V here. So you can cross check yourself the relations as that are exactly like what we discussed. The output is equal to V times the state plus bias, and hidden state is a function of previous hidden state and the input plus bias. Please note that S here indicates the state vector rather than hidden state, rather than H in the previous diagrams. Okay. So you can see the dimensions. In this video lecture by Mitesh Kapra, the backpropagation through time is very well discussed in step-by-step manner. So you can go through that as well. So here is the loss function that we have discussed, and this is the cross entropy loss, and the backpropagation details also we have discussed just now. You can also see some of the equations relating to that. So how do we backpropagate? For example, V here, that is W YH. So that can be, please note that if the total error is L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4, and the back propagation with respect to v when we are finding, it is with respect to each of these four will come. So dou L by dou V plus dou L by, so, and dou L1 by dou V plus dou L2 by dou V plus and so on. Yeah, please note that the matrix V is same that connects each of the hidden neurons to the output, and similarly the matrix U is same that connects each of the it's like we would like to make identical units, identical RNN block, so that when we when the sequence lengths vary, they can be easily accommodated for. Here is W update. So as you can see, W is a function of each of the state is function of W. So while updating while finding gradient per W, each implicit and explicit derivatives are there. The derivation that we have done is here. So here we have written with respect to K, that also you can write in different manner. So this algorithm is known as back propagation through time. And all the architectures that we have discussed can use the same back propagation methodology with slight variations in terms of the loss and other things, number of components in loss, etc. Okay. So there are some observations that are made by some of the researchers to see that actually which of the hidden neurons influencing in generating sequence. For example, if we are generating a sequence of say code, or say for example these can be used to train to generate the codes, like some of the conventional software programs, some of the C program or whatever. It does generate code imitating the syntax and many other things, but they may not make much meaning. So some of the if we see some if we only allow one of the hidden output to be on and others to be 0, and if we see that each of the location of hidden neuron will predict some of the aspects of the sequence that it generates. For example, some hidden neuron may capture the syntax, some hidden neuron may capture, say for example, end of the paragraphs, some hidden neurons may capture some of the if blocks or whatever. So it's like that. So this observation can be made. These in fact can generate big essays as well, but it's mostly not of good meaning. And these can also be used for to combine with CNNs to make the caption of an image, etc. So for example, here CNN here gives a feature vector. That means CNN acts as a giving good encoding to the RNN. So as input to the RNN. So this encoding, when a recurrent neural network takes, it uses in a sequential model to generate a caption for it. So there are different variants of how exactly the CNN encoding or the encoder output is fed to the decoder. So that we will see in more detail in subsequent slides. So this it generates nice captions. People are walking and so many, and this can, it is interesting to see that the which of the locations where the attention of this RNN is paid in making the attention in predicting the caption as well, that we will see in later slides. So before we discuss further on those, let us discuss few of the important limitations of simple recurrent neural network or vanilla RNN. See what this is a block diagram of vanilla RNN, where you can see that actually the input are xt and ht minus 1 are input, and it gets multiplied with the weight, and tan hyperbolic function is applied on it to get the hidden state. So this is one typical RNN cell we can consider, we can call it as. So wherein with leaving the output, we may take or we may not take the output, but leaving the output, actually the RNN cell is like this cell is connected to next cell and so on. So this is the expression. If we just rewrite ht minus 1 xt are inputs, and this w is the combination of whs and whx, and this is here, and then the output is st. This is how we depict a RNN cell. Now assume that there are a series of RNN cells like this. That is, we have a, since we want to predict a long sequences, or we have long input sequence, so we have several RNNs connected like this, RNN cells connected like this. Now when we do back propagation, what's happening, let us see. So say for example delta h, if you want to find here, so delta h1 if I want to find, what's happening, say from here to here, leaving all the other stuff, say delta here del dou h4 by dou h3, if I see, it is W transpose. Again dou h3 by dou h2, if I see, again W transpose. So leaving the activation function and all. So if I see dou h4 by dou h1, then it is W transpose whole power 3. And if I move on a 10 RNN blocks or RNN cells and backpropagate the error that is there from the 10th RNN cell to the first RNN cell, then there is a W power 10 that appears in the backpropagation expression. So H0 will involve a factor of W power something in its backpropagation. So say this delta H1 will be used to update the weights of delta W and so on. Okay. So now if the as we discussed, the delta H1 or delta H0 involve W power some 10 if I have 10 RNN cells ahead. Then if W power 10, assume that it is split into this W is split into assume that if I have a set of RNN cells and then dou H say 10 I will write, okay, by dou H 1 is equal to, say, proportional to, I will write, okay, W power 10. And now this W can be written in terms of U lambda V transpose. Okay, this UV are not that UV that there in weight matrices. This is just a singular value decomposition or eigenvalue decomposition. Okay, SVD or EVD. Okay, based on this now W power 10 if I write, this will be U into lambda power 10 into V transpose, and this lambda is a diagonal matrix. Okay, lambda is a diagonal matrix. Now lambda power 10, then it becomes lambda power 10 is all elements here. Okay, so whatever elements here, power 10. Okay, so power 10. Okay, so each element power 10. Okay, so now what will happen, if it is power 10 lambda 1 I will write, okay, lambda 1 just for simplicity, lambda 1 to lambda whatever d power 10 or n power 10. Okay, small lambda, let it be the inside element. So lambda power 1 lambda n power 10. Okay, so now each lambda, say if lambda is now is lambda I, any lambda I is greater than 1, then what will happen, that implies that lambda power 10 or lambda I power 10, okay, is explodes, reaches close to infinity. Okay, whereas lambda is 0, so lambda is less than 1. If lambda is less than 1, it implies that lambda I whole power 10 is reaches to 0. So this is called vanishing gradient, and this is exploding gradient. Okay, see the derivative delta H. Okay, so in fact delta H is so to the derivative at the earlier layers is vanishing or exploding. This is the problem. This is referred to as exploding or vanishing gradients problem in RNNs. Back propagation through time in simple RNNs. Okay. So now to avoid this, what there is a new architecture or a different architecture that people have proposed. The architecture people use to avoid this limitation is referred to as long short term uh, mm, LSTM. So long short term memory. Okay, the cell itself is modified now as long short term memory. So this has actually, see what the idea here is, instead of having a cell state, that is state for the whole cell, let us have an intermediate cell state, and the cell state can be directly say for example, each cell state depends on with a element wise multiplication to the previous cell state. Okay, so now uh, we will see the diagram of LSTM to understand this better. So let us see the relationships. So assume that here four operations are there in each of the LSTMs. That is one input and one forget. This input gate people call forget gate. Okay, output gate, and this is edge gate or gate. Okay, so or cell gate. So here what the cell state is yeah, fine, this is also good example to see. Each cell state is updated like this. So as you can see now, the cell state is element wise multiplication of forget gate. That means whatever are the essential things to forget from current cell to other cell, that only gets multiplied here, and remaining things aspects will pass as it is. So then that too, this is an element wise multiplication. So if assume that this f is a, say f has some ones and zeros. So if only f has ones and zeros, wherever there are ones, anyway it will pass without any change, and then wherever there are some fractions or zeros, it gets attenuated, because we explicitly want this cell is learned to forget that aspect, so there is no issue. And in back propagation also it can be seen that if there is enough back propagation at CT, that same back propagation go to CT minus 1. So in some sense, to update the all weight matrices and other things, there is a parallel path here. So this path is bypass path, so which doesn't say for example HT to HT minus 1, if you want to go, there is a, like there are some set of equations and other things required, but whereas this is a direct path. This will also help in updating HT to HT minus 1 better, that we will see in subsequent slides. But this is how the relationships are. So we will just briefly look at why like how these relationships are obtained, or how we can write them, and then we will discuss hmm, so now let us discuss on the architecture of LSTM. Okay. Okay. So now, as discussed, we have HT minus 1 previous time step and XT. Okay, these gets multiplied with a weight matrix, and this weight matrix, anyway, some non-linearities you may have here to give it doesn't there are some intermediate variables that are introduced for the benefit of direct back propagation, enabling direct back propagation. So the intermediate variables are, say uh, so I will let us see the sequence. Input, forget, output, and gate. Okay, and this is sigmoid, and tan h. Okay, so here explicitly, if I want to write the relationships, how do I write is IT is equal to sigmoid of WHH into HT minus 1 plus WHX into XT. Okay, this is how I write the explicit relationships. So also FT is equal to sigmoid of WHH HT minus 1 plus WHX into XT. Okay, that is because the corresponding matrix will be, so please, oh fine, sorry, these matrices that relate them are different. So here WIH, okay, input is related to hidden state IX, okay, whereas here it is FH and FX, okay. So now this is how we write the explicit expressions. Okay, so once we write this, the equations that relate this input outputs to the hidden states can be written like this. So what we do is, the understanding is that the cell state at any instance at any given time uh, depends upon previous cell state almost directly, with element wise multiplication of forget gate. That means this forget gate will tell element wise, say how much which cell is to be remembered, or which cell how much is to be remembered. So the extent and the of information that need to be retained from current cell state to the next cell state is given by this ft uh, plus, and there is a the provision to write into the cell, that is through input. So we may write something into the cell, but this writing, how much we write, is modulated by gate. Okay, this is referred to as cell gate. So the cell gate modulates how much we write, and then this information goes to the next cell. Okay, so similarly now let us write the HT, that is actual output of that LSTM cell. So this is the intermediate cell state, or internal. Okay, this is the uh, LSTM. Okay, cell state. Okay, so this how much depends upon the intermediate cell, that is tan hyperbolic of CT. Okay, and how much and output gate. Okay, so this output gate will assess how much should I output at that given instant, and these are all dot star are, this is element by element multiplications. Okay, so this is how the mm, cell state gets updated. So please note that actually this cell state is intermediately updated by input gate, input and cell gate, and how much to retain. So how much to input, how much to retain, and then the output, how much to output is decided, how much to write in the output, how much to read in the output is determined by OT. Okay, so this is in terms of writing. How much rather than how much what to write. Okay, what to write, and this is how much to write. Okay, and this is how much to read. Okay, and this is how much to retain. Okay, and with these provisions, since we have only element multiplications here, the back propagation is very direct in terms of CT. Okay, so this is how the RNN cell, sorry, LSTM cell is. Now let us see how the gradient propagation in LSTM cell looks like, and how is the problem of diminishing and exploding gradients here. See, please note that here is it is xt and this is st, and this w gets multiplied with with different components of w. You will get f, I, and g and o. This expression is exactly same as what we have written before, and the element wise multiplication with forget gate gives the corresponding next output for the cell state, and this how much to write and how much to read is given by these two. Okay, and then this goes on. So please see here, now there is a direct path for back propagation. If I want to adjust the dou h by dou h10 by dou h1, if I want to do, there is one direct path here that will help only with that is multiplied only with the forget gate at different stages, and that directly helps to avoid diminishing gradients problem or exploding gradient problem. So it is almost similar to what we have in the skip connections in resonates. So exploding gradient problem usually is avoided by clipping the value. So that means if the say value of gradient is greater than something, we can just simply clip it to avoid the exploding gradient problem. But for diminishing gradient problem to avoid, we need to change the architecture from RNN to LSTM, and this is done like this. So in LSTM, we have a direct path that will help us to avoid the diminishing gradient problem. Whereas this path may have better flexibility in terms of having gradients flowing through several different paths. So this is almost like the skip connections in resonates, but the skip connection here is provided through intermediate cell state. The forget gate still gets multiplied several times, but it's only element by element multiplications, and these forget gates anyway, if we wish to forget in forward direction, even the back propagation can also be ignored. So that's the idea. So this is written in slightly different way. So this is what, as we said before, the selective write what we are writing here, and this is selectively reading what we are reading. So this is no fine, this is how we are selectively reading the information. So from the previous mm, from gate information what we are reading and what we are writing here, what we are forgetting, right. So please make the note the change. So this how much to write here, writing into the output, and how much to read here. Okay, what to write, what to, okay, what information to read. Okay. So the expressions you can see explicitly here. These are notations are different, but what we have written is exact. So this is another depiction of LSTM cell. There are different ways how people depict the LSTM cell. Okay, so this is another diagram. So this is in some sense computational flow graph kind of thing. But the as we discussed before, each of the ST here is nothing but cell state, CT in our notation. So you can see the back propagation through CT is direct path. So any like delta like error you have in any delta, you will directly back propagate through CT as well. Through this bypassing path, dou ht by dou st. For example, dou so if we do uh, mm, so dou lt by dou ht when we are finding, it is function of dou ht by dou ct and dou ct by dou ct minus 1 and so on. Each of them are element wise multiplications. These element wise multiplications are only involving forget gate. So and hence as you know, this is involving only forget gate, and hence except the last terms of back propagation, the other back propagation only depends upon the forget gate. So if forget gate is say in some sense properly initialized and properly made to flow the information that is important, then in back propagation also we will get the same information like updated. I will skip these details. So this is a summary in terms of say RNNs and LSTMs. There is another gated unit that is gated recurrent unit. So other version of say slightly intermediate version of RNN and LSTM, which is also computationally efficient and avoids diminishing and exploding gradients problems to some extent. Uh, Let us break the discussion here. So we will discuss the applications in the next video lecture. Thank you.